This is interview number 4 of Cheryl Ann Beale. It is September 7th, 2023, and it's 12:25. Okay, so we last left off with talking about your mother and father,
Yep.
family vacations and stuff, and some of your friends. How many siblings do you have?
I'm one of 3. I have a brother, Bill, William John Beale, a sister who is now deceased, that's Denise Jean Beale, and then myself.
When did Denise pass away?
2015.
2015? Do you know the month and day?
It was August 4th.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about Denise.
Nisi. Well,
First of all, when was she born?
Nisi was born on June 23rd, 1956 at Norwood Hospital. I was 4, so I don't recall a whole lot about her being little. We've got some great pictures of her though, being little. She was adorable. She was very tall, even as an infant. She was like 22 inches long and all legs. And beautiful, curly, light brown hair and big blue eyes. So yeah, she was a beautiful child. A beautiful child. As a matter of fact, the company that Daddy worked for, Carter's Children's Wear, would use kids from the employees to do photo shoots. And of course there was Nisi, and there's a picture or 2 of her that they took of her playing with something, but it is the most adorable picture. So her.
Do you have those pictures still?
Yeah, you'll have them.
Oh, you have them on the computer?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool.
There's a couple of pictures that we inadvertently recreated when the 3 of us were together, because there's a picture of Nisi on the left side, you in the middle with your little tot self, and me on the right hand side. Left. Years later, when there was a picture being taken of the 3 of us together, we stepped right into that same positional thing. It was Nisi to the left, Cheri to the right, Bill in the middle. So yeah, and there's a picture at Aaron's wedding to Mike. We took the exact same picture. Nisi to the left, Billy in the middle, Cheri to the right. And it's one of my favorite pictures. It's we all looked good that day.
Oh, there were a couple of pictures I saw of, well, we'll get into that later. So anyways, from the time she's born until the time your brother, Bill, was born, it was just the 2 of you. What was it like having a little sister?
I hated it. She was a pain in my ass. And you can leave that in. She because she was little, and you know, she was she just wanted to follow me everywhere and do everything. Once she was mobile, boy, that was it. She just wanted to be with her big sister all the time, and her big sister did not want to be hung on to. You know, I wanted to go and play with my friends, and you know, Mom would say, "Play with your sister." I'd be like, "I don't want to play with my sister. I want to go play with my friends." She was 4 years younger. It may not seem like a big deal, but it was a big deal for me. And our personalities, even at that young age, were very different. I was very inquisitive, so I was always out looking for things. And she just wanted to play dolls, and I was never a doll person. So we had our little differences, but she was the cutest little kid, and she was very affectionate. And yeah, what was not to love about this? She was just adorable. She was adorable.
So did you take her with you to play with your friends?
No. No, because my friends didn't want her there either, and they had their own siblings that they were trying to leave at home. Because it was a young neighborhood. So, I think my friends and I, we were, there were a couple of kids that were a little older than me, but for the most part we were the same age with our siblings all the same age. So it was like a raft of kids. And no, we didn't want to play with our little ones. It was just like, no, we don't want to do that. But as she got older, it was better. Although it seemed like nighttime, she had the, not night terrors, but she was always afraid of the dark when we were little. So she would say, hold my hand. So that's, we slept in twin beds. And there was a table that was 12, 18 inches. And I would have to stretch to reach over to hold her hand until she went to sleep. And that was fine. And then she started telling me what she was afraid of, which did not set well with me. So I was more than happy to hold her hand because I was scared too.
What was she afraid of?
Oh, ghoulies, ghosties, three-legged beasties, things that go bump in the night. I mean, it was just stuff.
Stuff under the bed?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Don't put your foot on the floor. No, yeah, we can. No. It was like when she got into bed, you stayed there until daylight, no matter how bad you had to pee. It was awful. Turn on the light. We were kids, and things would get to us. And me, being the reader that I was, I went straight for Grimm's fairy tales, which were not happy. If you've read Grimm's fairy tales, you know what I mean. Those are heinous. They were monsters and people cooking children in ovens. It's just brutal. But yeah, I read it and loved it. So yeah, I did not tell Niecy about those though, because that would have been cruel. She had enough going on in her little brain.
Did you ever read to her at night? When she hadn't learned to read yet?
I really don't remember. I probably did. Because we read to all the kids. We read to you, we read to Niecy, we read to the Niecy's kids, we read to Erin. We're readers, so there were books everywhere in the house. Everywhere.
Okay, so she went to Oldham School, correct?
She did, the John P. Oldham School, which was just up the street. It was a relatively new school.
Well, what was that first day for her? Was she excited to go to kindergarten, or?
Niecy liked school. I don't recall her first day because, I was off to school. And I probably left earlier because, that was kindergarten. Kindergarten started later. So I didn't see her. The night before school, I'm sure there was a big deal about Niecy's first day at school. But Niecy loved school. She loved to teach school, like all little kids do. They're going to teach school. So she had her student friends, and she was pretty good. But yeah, I really.
Well, you were at
memory.
Oldham the same time she was for a little bit.
No.
There was 4 years difference.
I was in 6th grade. Oh, well, wait, maybe.
You should have been there maybe one. Now, if you were 4 years older,
I started there at 6th grade.
Then Denise
she did not go to Cheri school.
You sure?
Well, now I'm not sure. I don't recall that. Interesting. I don't recall whether she went there.
Well, if you look at the chronology here, if you started Oldham when you were in 6th grade, when it was completed,
right,
and Denise is 4 years younger than you,
yeah,
that would have put her in 2nd grade, which means
she had to go to Shattuck.
Yeah, Shattuck.
I just don't remember her being in the car. who went to Shattuck School? I can tell you by who was in the car when we got driven to school. It was Marcia Henry and Toddy Murphy and,
I gotta ask you one
Chucky
thing.
Boyle.
Chuck. I gotta ask you one thing about, and I forgot in the last video. When Kennedy was elected,
Yeah.
and one of the neighbors was driving you to school,
Oh, Jesus.
and they had a birth in the family, a male.
Oh, my God. The Cahills.
Nice family.
Beautiful family. Lovely family. Ton of kids. Irish.
Yep.
They named the new baby John Kennedy Cahill. And I had a smart-ass remark for that. Daddy was so proud. They got a phone call on that one. Yeah.
Well, didn't he do something with the car?
Well, he probably pulled over to speak to me sternly.
Now, the way I heard it was he made you walk.
Mr. Cahill? Oh. That might have happened.
I don't think you were too far from Shattuck School, though.
No, probably not, but yeah.
Okay, so Dad gets the phone call.
Now, I was not privy to the phone call.
Obviously.
All I got was, learn to keep your mouth shut. There are things that you don't bring up to other people. And I think that was my first indoctrination of things that you can say, things that you cannot say. Let's be smart about this, and we don't need to make enemies in the neighborhood.
So
And it wasn't that Dad was anti-Kennedy. It was just, I personally, at a very young age, thought that naming a child after a president just because he was Irish heritage was ridiculous. And what can I say? What can I say?
Anyways, okay, I forgot about that story. Let's get back to Nisi and the Oldham School.
Nisi and the Oldham School. Well, actually, just as a sideline mention, when you walk into the Oldham School, there's a little lobby, and the lobby has a wall, and on the wall are all 4x4 tiles. And those 4x4 tiles were decorated by the kids of the first classes at Oldham School. And I have a tile up there.
Yeah.
I could probably still find it. But it was kind of like we didn't think it was a big deal. But then when you go back years later with your child going to Oldham School, and you walk up and you say, "See that tile? Mommy did that tile."
You showed me the tile once.
Yeah.
I forget.
It was an abstract.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is, when that wall got full, that half.
Yes.
It was actually a tile wall
Yes.
with the square tiles on it. Well, when that wall was full, they started doing class pictures. And as you went through the double doors out of the office to go up the main hallway.
Yeah.
And the gym was on the
Left.
You had on the left, and you had the big wall there, the
Yeah.
outside wall of the gym. So that's where they put all the class pictures.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, my class picture was like the second or third.
Okay.
And I had gone to pick Aaron up, and I said, I went here back in such and such a time. Can I go take a look at the class picture? And they said, sure. And I went in, I couldn't find it. I said, my class and the classes, the one or two before us, I think. It was one class before, then it was mine. Oh, they said we had a flood. The roof leaked.
Oh, no.
Yeah, your tile's there. They didn't take it down.
Well, don't be negative. I like to think that it's still there for posterity.
Oh, me too, yeah.
I
I took a picture. I took the public school website, and they had the picture of Oldham.
Yeah.
It's still the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, go ahead.
Right, meanwhile, back to Nisi, which is the whole point of this particular video.
She's got a tile up there. But go
Yes, she
ahead.
does. Where was I?
Just starting on her educational career.
Her educational career. Yes, going from from playing in her room, playing teacher, to deciding what she was going to do in life. Nisi was a very smart kid, and she enjoyed learning, and she enjoyed studying, and she was very good at it. She had a very quick mind. This is a kid, she'd read something and she didn't have to read it again. She just kind of, she was an A student, what can I say? She was very, very good. And she was very well behaved. So, yeah, not like me at all.
No little business size card saying, did she talk today in class?
No, she was very well behaved. She was very smart. Brought home her report card with, A's and occasional B, which would devastate her. So, yeah, we were very different. I like to learn what I like to learn. And, which wasn't always what was on the agenda. But Nisi, she was the A student. And on more than one occasion, I would get, why can't you be more like your sister? I'd be like, why? Why do I want to be like her?
Who would say that? Mom or Dad?
Mom. Yeah. Dad knew better. He wouldn't say that. But yeah, I mean, she went through school. Everybody loved Nisi. Because she was just that kind of a kid. She was a sweet kid. And funny. Nisi was always funny. And she had a wicked laugh. Even when she was little. She was a kid that loved to laugh. And that stopped after Daddy passed away. She was 14. And that kind of took the wind out of everybody's sails. And it was brutal. It was brutal for her and for you. Not that it wasn't for me, but I mean, I was 18 and kind of understood the ways of the world. She was 14, had just lost her dad, and you were 10 and lost your dad. I mean, if there are horrible ages to lose a parent, it's those ages. Everybody's heart was broken. And Mom just didn't reach out for help. I don't think she knew how. So it wasn't like we went to counseling or any of that, because she was, it took her a long time to recover some semblance of life after Daddy passed away. He was only 47, she was only 49. What do you do? You're a widow and you're raising 3 kids. Oh my God. So yeah, Nisi was an unhappy kid after that. It really broke her. Broke you too. And I just kept marching on. Unfortunately, that was also, I guess, towards the end of that year, that Denise decided that she would take her first drink of alcohol. And it continued after that. Nobody knew. To this day, and I've asked her about it, like, whatever possessed you? And it was just like, I don't know, people were drinking. So I took a drink. And then I took another one. And then I didn't feel bad anymore at 14. So, yeah, we missed everything on that until she got to be a teenager. And then it was, at that point, Nisi's friends and my friends kind of intersected. And of course, I was not a drinker. I'd have a beer occasionally, but I was not a drinker. I just didn't like the taste. But Nisi, there's always stories about when kids get polluted, drunk. And the one I remember the most is Nisi coming home, and she ran to the upstairs bathroom, and she was, excuse the expression, puking her guts out. And my mother standing at the bottom of the stairs and yelling at her, saying, "Well, Miss Tango, how was that? Did you enjoy that, Miss Tango?" Tango was some sort of a drink. And I think it came pre-mixed in a bottle. And apparently Denise had had quite a bit. So yeah, she was sick, and my mother never let her forget that. So yeah, it was kind of funny, but we didn't realize that was actually a symptom. So yes, Nisi had an alcohol issue, which was horrible. It colored her life. Decisions that she made were not always the best decisions. But still, smart kid. When she graduated from high school, of course on the honor roll, she went to Westfield State College, which was out in the western part of Massachusetts. And I remember Mom and I drove her that first day, and of course the car was all loaded up with stuff for Nisi's dorm room. And she was so excited. And Mom cried all the way back. And I'm like, what are you crying for? Well, you stayed home, and at which point I kept my mouth shut, but what I wanted to say was I didn't really have a choice. Things were not good with you, Mom, so I wasn't about to go hearing off to a college out of state because Daddy would not have been happy. So, Nisi went to Westfield State, and I think she went for 1 year? 1 semester? Half a year? Yeah, because her being away from home was not a good idea. So, we went back. We picked her up, and I forget, where did she go after that? I don't remember. I mean, I was not at home. I didn't keep tabs on her. I was out, I was trying to have a life. In any event, she ended up going to work for a company called McKesson Liquors, and because she was so smart, she ended up being the controller. So she had good jobs. She had responsibilities. For a short time, before she worked at McKesson, she worked for a short time for Polaroid. And I forget, she was some support position, in the cafeteria or something, where she met her first husband, Ted, and had her 3 children with him.
Teddy had his own issues.
Ted and Denise were like gas and a match for the 22 years that they worked together. It was not a good situation.
But they loved each other. They just...
Yeah, the alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol, and in Ted's situation, he got a hold of drugs, and that wasn't good. He wasn't like a crackhead or anything.
Marijuana.
It was, mostly weed. At some point along the way, there was cocaine involved, which ended up being a financial situation for them. But,
well, to be fair to Ted, he was in a
horrific
auto
car
accident.
Yeah.
Almost fatal.
He was in a coma for 6 or 8 weeks, and he was driving I think it was a Triumph. It was a convertible, and he came out of the shopping plaza, and I really don't understand how this accident happened, but in any event, somebody didn't slow down. They sped up instead of slowing down and broadsided Ted, and the car went upside down, sliding down the road, and unfortunately, because it was convertible, Ted had severe skull injuries, and he had a traumatic brain injury, and it took a while for them to come back. I remember his mom, Fran, saying that she never went home. She sat by his bed the entire time until he came to, and then it was a lot of rehab after that. And he lost an eye. But Nisi saw past all of that, and Ted could be a very funny guy. And let me just say this about those two: they did the best they could under the circumstances. You know, they did love each other until alcohol got in the way. And, you know, they loved their kids. And Niecy, when she wasn't actively drinking, because she would and then she wouldn't, and then she would and then she wouldn't. She was like Mother Earth mom. She was the mom that every mom wanted to be, because she would volunteer at the school. She was baking cookies for the kids. I mean, she was very involved with the kids' lives. She knew everybody. They knew her at the school because she was, you know, involved. So, yeah, there were days that I wished I could be more like her. I just wired differently. So yeah, Niecy was a really good mom, and even on her worst days, she was a really good mom.
You had jumped over some things that I thought in her earlier life were pretty funny. As you and Denise were together growing up,
Yeah,
just the two of you,
just the two of us.
and then something happened.
Oh boy. Then this mom went to the hospital and came home with a baby. And
Now wait a minute. Denise was the baby of the family.
yeah, she was.
She got all the attention.
Yes, she did.
And the minute they
This-
came through the door with the baby,
That was a boy baby.
and what did she say?
Well, Mama said, look at your baby brother and put you in the bassinet. And I think there's a picture.
There is. I think I
she
have
and
it.
I standing looking down at the child in the bassinet. And she said, take him back, I don't want him. And I think she meant that for years. She was not happy with this new kid who, and of course, I thought that you were awesome. You were like the live baby doll that I could play with, that actually did something.
Yeah, you said you didn't like playing with dolls.
I did not like playing with dolls, but I loved playing with my baby brother.
Because he was alive.
He was alive, and you know, he would make noise, and you know, I could bathe him, and I could change him, and I could do all this stuff, which Mom thought was great. However, the first time that happened, it was a Saturday morning. Oh my God. I was watching cartoons, and I decided, oh, well, it sounds like a good time to go get the baby. So I went upstairs, got you, brought you downstairs, put you on the living room floor.
You dropped me on my head.
No, I did not. No.
That was Denise.
That was Denise. And that's a little different thing. And then I went back up and I got the bassinet and brought that down. And then next thing you know, Mom is screaming, where's the baby? And I was like, I have the baby. And, you know, Dad and Mom come hot-footing it down the stairs, and there's Billy sitting, you know, I'm sitting like cross-legged, and I've got you in my lap, and I think we were watching The Lone Ranger. But yeah, that was,
My eyes weren't even open.
pretty much, no. I mean, you were days old.
Yeah.
You were probably going on 2 weeks, and everybody was making a very big deal out of this baby that came into the house, this son, the heir. Yeah, it was a big deal. And it wasn't just our house, because there was a raft of babies born that year. And as I recall, I think they were all boys. Yeah, because there was Barry Randall, the Cahill kid,
Golden.
the Golden kids, the Nelson kid. There was a bunch, and they were all boys. Of course, you know, the dads are all puffed up if it was their first son. Oh, I have a son. It's like, the girls, excuse me. So yeah, it was just it was the time. It was the times.
So did you and your friends all get together and start complaining about all the new babies in the houses?
That I don't know. We just knew that we weren't quite old enough to babysit by ourselves. So, you know, the older teenagers were roped into that. And of course, you know, the older teenagers, oh yay, it's a baby. So they were all happy to be taking care of a little baby. That was fun.
Yeah, I remember we had Carol McCall, I think.
No, we had Janet McCall.
Janet, yes,
Janet McCall. She was a riot.
Yeah.
She was so much fun.
You know what's funny? It took me years. And I think it was like when I was a teenager and dating and going to the movies, but when she babysitted one night, she made popcorn.
Yeah.
And she just smothered it in butter.
Yeah.
Couldn't have butter and popcorn for years.
Really?
I like Janet. She's a nice person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She liked her butter.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember she was our babysitter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. And yeah, she wasn't like the cranky babysitter. She had fun. She'd put music on and teach us the new rock and roll dances. And she was hilarious is what she was. And I remember going to her wedding, and that was really special because they didn't invite kids. But since she babysat us,
Yeah.
we got to go. Or I got to go. I don't know if Nisi got to go. You definitely did not get to go, I don't think. I don't know. We probably had Jen babysitting. That's Nana. But yeah.
All right.
That's a good memory, Jen McCall. Nice kid.
Now, I'm assuming after a decade or so, you got to like, both you and Nisi got to like your baby brother. I mean, how long did it take? Still thinking about it, huh?
No, we got used to having you around. And like I said, once you started toddling, you were much more interesting. We could actually play with you, and we did.
Yeah, the whole movie showed that.
We had some fun with you, and yes, we were very protective of you. It was like, we don't like him, but you don't get to be like that. That's our baby brother.
How did Nisi get her nickname?
Nisi, I think it's me. I probably just couldn't quite get the whole Denise out, or whatever. I wish I knew. I don't remember. It was just something that happened. But yeah, it was just Nisi. And I think there was a popular name at the time. So it was probably already out there. There were Denises that were called Nisi as a nickname. Because I don't remember. I mean, I was 4, and I'm assuming I could speak well at that point. So I don't know. I know that Mom desperately wanted Nisi to call me Sissy. That seemed to be like the thing. Go see Sissy. And I think that was a thing with Aunt Evelyn, because her kids called each other Sissy, and that just did not stick with me. And Dad always called me by my given name, which was Cheryl, which I hated then, and I hate now. I have hated my entire life, and I know that I have told people, please do not call me Cheryl, Bill. Please call me Cheri, because it's a name I prefer. And to this day, it has not stuck with you.
I don't know why.
I don't either, but it's so annoying. And Debbie calls me Cheryl, because you call me Cheryl. I hate Cheryl.
Well, it's either Cheryl or Sha.
I prefer Sha.
I know.
So, yeah. So maybe, as I lay on my deathbed,
Okay.
yeah, you could get it through. And,
I'm working on it.
well, try. Yeah, you better hurry, because time's ticking here, buddy. Time's ticking.
Let's see, I'm 62. Hasn't really sunk in. I don't know how much the chance, but I'll try.
Well, next time when you walk in, I'll have it just sign it says
Yeah.
Chef on it. I don't ask for much. It's just.
All right.
Yeah.
So how did she treat the baby brother once he could?
Oh, she loved you. Oh my God. Yeah, she went from taken back to he's all mine. And Jen would always slip us, a change or $1 or whatever. And Nisi couldn't wait to get to the store to buy you something. She was all about getting presents for her baby brother. She absolutely adored you. And it was sweet. It
Yeah.
was really sweet.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to add?
To the life of Nisi?
Yeah. Just remember, this is for her kids and her
Yeah.
grandkids
Yeah.
and great-grandkids.
Yep. Well, what you need to understand about her is that she had a heart full of love. She loved everybody. And everybody loved Nisi. She was awesome with the kids, like I said. She was like the earth mother. The only negative part was that alcohol got a hold of her, and y'all just need to remember this, my descendants and her descendants. Alcohol is poison to us. It is genetic. Just don't start. Just don't start, because you don't know if you're going to recover from it. When Nisi passed away, she had lung cancer, and it was a horrible, miserable death. The only part was that she had an embolism, and that took her just like that, in the middle of a sentence. And she was with Jimmy, her husband, who adored her. Like I said, the thing you need to remember about Nisi is that she was just this big old love bug. She really was. If you take out the stupidity of alcohol and the dumb behaviors that go along with it, she is a really terrific person. And I miss her very much. And I miss her laughing and the dumb stuff that we would laugh about. And we'd go back over our lives and the stupid things that we did, or the people that we know. And she laughed. She just laughed and laughed. And I miss that. There are many times I'll read something now, or I'll see something on TV, and I want to reach for the phone and say, "Oh my God!" And she was heavy into politics. Nisi should have been a lawyer, is what she should have been, because she could argue a dog off a meat wagon. She, like I said, very smart. She loved politics. She loved to discuss it, and she had an opinion on everything. She was very well educated. When she started talking politics, she knew what she was talking about. And thank God we were on the same side, because I would have hated to have to go against her. She was that good.
There was one particular politician and incident that she was obsessed with concerning a bridge.
Oh. Yeah. Once upon a time, without getting into it, let's just say that we, as a family, were not particularly enamored with the Kennedy family, because we were from Massachusetts and we knew about the Kennedys, and they were not nice people. They just weren't. Teddy was a drunk and a nasty person. And Teddy, all of the Kennedy brothers were known to be unfaithful to their wives, and blatant about it. Ted Kennedy was married to Joan Kennedy. Joan Kennedy was an alcoholic. Teddy strayed, and he went after younger women. And there was a young woman by the name of Mary Jo Kopechne. And they were partying down on Martha's Vineyard, and the car ran off the road, went off the bridge at Chappaquiddick, and she ended up drowning. Ted ended up with back injuries, for which plagued him the rest of his life. But it was a very, very bad accident.
Well, the reason why it was more than a bad accident was he got out of the car but left her there.
Yeah.
And it took hours before it was reported.
Yeah.
Now, for future generations to understand something, none of us have personally, I know I haven't, I know Denise didn't, I know my parents didn't, met any of the Kennedys in a social situation.
I did.
You did, that's why you said
He's a
what you
piece
did.
of shit.
Yeah, okay.
He's a
And
piece of shit.
you met Tip O'Neill at the same time.
Yeah. A friend of mine, my best friend, Teresa, and I did a thing called Hands Across America. It was basically, and I forget what the purpose was behind it. You'll have to look that up because I'm not going to. But it's people got together in all these cities and states, and the idea was that all of us people would get together and hold hands like a chain, and hopefully start in Boston and then go all the way across to California, hands across America. So as we are standing in, I think we were on Boston Common, was where our place was, and we was the girl next to me was using arm crutches because she had cerebral palsy, and so her gait was off, her speech was off, and Ted Kennedy, who was obviously had been having a few cocktails, and Tip O'Neill, who was probably I think Speaker of the House.
He was Speaker of the House. U.S. House.
Yeah. Came walking by and, oh, thank you for coming, and doing the whole glad handing thing. And this young woman who we had been talking to for hours said something to him that was like, I appreciate you, Senator, something like that, but it was garbled. And Kennedy turned around and he said, oh yeah, just what we need, another damn drunk, and kept walking. She was devastated.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at what happened to that woman. I'm laughing at...
It's typical Kennedy.
The reaction, yeah.
Yeah, typical Kennedy. And he was one to talk. She was devastated. And, I didn't like Ted Kennedy to begin with, and that just kind of solidified it. It's kind of like when Trump was laughing at the disabled reporter. What kind of a human being are you to do something like that? So, yeah, I had no use for Ted Kennedy or any of the Kennedys after that.
Okay, anyways, Denise was obsessed with the Chappaquiddick.
She was, because she felt that Ted Kennedy actually killed her. He left her there to drown. Because if she had been knocked out, he could have pulled her out. But he chose to run, coward that he was. And with a broken back, he left her there. And then the autopsy came back on her to determine the actual cause of death, and it turned out she was pregnant. So that just lit everybody up. So, he denied everything. And, I had a bump in the head, I didn't know what was going on, or I didn't know that she was still in the back seat, whatever. But yeah, that was a big, huge scandal. And Niecy, my God, if she had been a reporter, I'm telling you.
Well, we did go to Martha's Vineyard.
Yep.
And she said, we had a family trip there, I think, for a day or something.
I can't remember.
Oh, she said, no, we're going to the bridge. We have to go to the bridge. I got to see this. I mean, she was determined.
Yeah. Yep. She, to her dying day, as a matter of fact. She knew Kennedy was no damn good, and that she thought that he left her there to die. So, yeah. Niecy could be a force. Let me just put it that way. When she got onto something, like I said, like a dog with a bone, there was no changing her mind.
Yeah, there was no reasoning with her.
Nope, there was no reasoning with her. She had her opinions, and like I said, if she was great to argue with. It was a treat, especially if you were on opposite sides. It was pretty amazing because, like I said, Niecy was not a stupid woman by any stretch of the imagination. And thankfully, her kids also got her smarts, because all three of her kids are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And that would be Kristen and Rob and TJ. Edward Charles Collins III. Everybody knows him as TJ. And successful in their own right. So, and their kids.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I think Niecy would have 9 grandchildren, which would have made her ecstatic.
Yeah.
Because she loved kids. She and Jimmy moved out to Indiana. Once she was diagnosed, she decided that she wanted to be close to the kids. They were in Florida, and the kids were in Indiana, and they moved out there so that she could be close to the kids. And at that point, I think there were 6 or 7 grandkids at that point. Kristen, I think, I can't remember how old Rai was when Nisi passed away.
He was still a baby.
Yeah, he was still a baby. As were, Rob's kids, I think, were infants.
Yeah.
And there may have only been one maybe at that point. And I think TJ had Gregory. So yeah, there might have only been 4. So they've been prolific. But they're all great kids. And she would have just been in 7th heaven with all those great children. Because, Nisi, kids. Earth Mother.
Mm-hmm.